Just a minute. It takes us a second. Okay. Just a minute. It takes us a second. Yeah, I think I may have a correction too. Okay. Just a minute. All right. Sure.
Peter's still working.
Haven't really done much with it yet, but I will.
It is. Did you do anything with elected in the cloud?
No, I didn't, and I see it was working. I think it's got something to do with moisture here.
Oh, okay.
I think that. It was probably bad joints on it. They're turned down, so they dry it out. It's not working so good, and then we get rain.
We've just had a lot of rain though.
Yeah.
You know,
I haven't looked
when-
at it
no,
today.
Then we get the rain and
Oh, it's
starts up
good.
again. I went by it 3 times today and, oh, it's got the right time. I wonder if somebody looked at
Can he give you the credit?
it. Yeah. Not too fast though. Okay.
We're on.
I will call to order our conservation, brush conservation board meeting for April 11th, 2024.
Chairman Watson,
Here,
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
Here?
Member Kraus,
Here?
Member Woolever,
Here.
and Member Hoke.
Here.
Right.
application for our next meeting, May 9th. And we should have some application. There's one that this is gonna get, I think possibly tabled. She said there was a problem with it. She'll explain it. So that'll be
Yeah.
next month, and then it'll go before the planning board in June.
Probably in June. Yeah.
Any problems with May 9th, anybody, or? No? Okay. Correspondence, we have none.
You should just take that off the agenda.
The only stuff we used to get was from Letchworth Park.
Well, sometimes from the county planning.
Yeah, but we haven't gotten that in a long
Right.
time. It all comes electronically now.
Did you want to approve the minutes or
But I think
do you have
Yeah.
some changes or?
On page 2, under the 955 Roscastle Road one, I wanted to read petroleum pipeline,
Okay,
because that's, that's how it's labeled. Signed.
petroleum main line?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
And also, second on page 2, second from the bottom. I'm not sure that it's what we're asking for there is, it may not be clear. Perhaps we could change that to ask to make a note in the minutes that they would like to see updates on, to plans before they are decided upon by other boards.
okay. All right, I will make those changes.
Add anything?
Yes. Also on page 2, can you hear me, Beth?
I sure can.
Oh,
All right.
All right.
working, okay.
Good job.
Also
Marjorie.
on page 2, under old business. The lease was not rescinded at the town board meeting on March 7th.
Okay,
First of all, there was no town board meeting on March 7th. They met on the 13th and the 27th. But
okay,
Luther stated it correctly. In that town board meeting, he correctly said, the March 13th town board meeting, he said, the town board voted to rescind the extension of the lease for A Horse's Friend. So there was no town board meeting on March 7th.
okay,
It was March 13th. And then at the March 27th meeting,
okay,
Supervisor Woolever had to make the exact same clarification. Only the amendment to the lease was rescinded. The original lease with the Horse's Friend remains in effect.
In effect.
Okay, so
As
to
Luther
correct it,
said.
I think that's all we need to correct it would be just make it say the lease extension was rescinded at the town board meeting on March 13th.
You could say that, yeah.
Okay. The lease extension? The lease
Yeah,
extension was
or-
rescinded.
Or amendment. the
Okay,
The amended lease, not the lease.
okay. The amended lease was rescinded at the town board meeting on March 13th. That's correct.
This is probably not helpful,
Yeah, no.
but.
Oh, that's
there's-
fine.
there's
Nope.
more
Okay.
detail. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I came in, right in the middle of all of what was going on with the Horse's Friend, currently. And I didn't understand myself, so I actually talked with Sharon as well, so she just kind of gave me a few updates, but yeah, that makes it much clearer for me as well, so.
Okay, well, it's not just you, Marjorie. It's been, I mean, the
A
town
long-
board minutes were incorrect for March 13th. Then March 27th, Dan Wilbur tried to
Okay,
straighten it out, and even the attorney, stepped in and said, so essentially, I forgot his exact words, but
okay,
it is the amendment that was
to the
rescinded,
lease. Okay,
not the lease.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for letting me know.
And actually an important point when you found that.
Yes,
And so we call to approve the minutes of Conservation Board meeting, March 14th, 2024,
As corrected.
as corrected. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't have time to read the updated ones.
okay. Okay,
All I know is that bit that I commented on was in both the original draft and the updated.
all right. Okay,
I will move that we approve the minutes as corrected.
okay,
I second it.
all right.
You got a couple of them. No, we need a vote, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. Member Woolever,
Aye.
member Kraus,
Aye.
member Hoke,
Aye.
Deputy Chairwoman Letterman,
Aye.
and Chairman Watson.
Aye.
Okay, I don't know why they're backwards on here, but we got the vote, right?
Yeah.
Got the vote. And I will make the corrections, and just from the previous meeting, Julia, we did update the minutes out. I had Sharon put the minutes for this year currently up there.
Great.
And then we are on track now with the agendas, so hopefully that'll be smoother going forward.
Great, thank
Okay,
you.
yeah, no problem.
Next business is the Tree Advisory Committee, old business. Anybody,
Yeah, it's.
or you want to
Beth,
do
I
that
think-
towards the end?
Well, whatever you say. I think Beth has that.
Oh, okay.
So
She,
she has
All
information.
that,
oh,
all
okay.
that I know about the tree advisory committee is that they had their first meeting, night before last. And it was really an organizational meeting. I think that they have come up with, a chairperson and a secretary and a treasurer if needed. So it was very organizational in nature, and that's really all I can report about that.
Do you know who the chair is?
No, I do know that, is it Emily Dagger? Yeah, I don't think she wanted that role, and, I believe, I don't want to speak because I'm not 100% sure of who took that role on,
Right.
but someone else did. So
Thank
they
you.
are up and running.
And just, we don't, just for our discussion or briefly, it turned out that one of the 7 that we reviewed does not, and it currently live in the town of Rush. So the town board approved the other 6 that we recommended, which was all of the candidates.
Has to
who
be all Rush residents?
Well, the wording as I looked at it said that they should be town residents. It didn't specifically say required to be. But I guess that's the town
We
board's
didn't know
call.
that at the time.
No, because that person's submission did not include their address.
Okay.
So it just, yeah, it wasn't something that we investigated to determine, does this person, didn't show her address, does she really live in Rush? Maybe we should have, I don't know. But yeah, we just kind of accepted that they were, maybe that's something that could have been screened in the office, but regardless, we didn't realize that. And, it wasn't apparent,
You
from
know
the-
what? I didn't realize that they had narrowed it down to 6. You're probably speaking of Janet Chase, and
Yes.
Janet Chase and her husband Jim were longtime residents of Rush, but recently, I think endowed their house to their children and now live in Henrietta, with a Pittsford mailing address. It's probably Janet.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's the town board's call as to, as far as I can, I don't think it's anything we need to deal with as to, their criteria for who serves. So-
well, I got a thank you note from her. With the Pittsford address. I was surprised to see that.
Oh, right.
Well, she is on the Rush Recreation and Park Association board.
Right, and of course, yeah, I guess there aren't too many Rush residents with a Pittsford mailing address, but all kinds of things can happen. Some have an Avon address.
Honey
some
and
have-
Falls,
Yeah, some have West Henrietta. I mean, so it's.
little pockets.
New business that. Kusi application, which they want to change some lot lines there mainly for maintenance. Is this the one that you have?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I got both of them, so I'll share with. Yeah, share with Sue. Summers. Looks like apparently they both agree to this.
Yes.
Now, are
Yes,
they both on the same side of Rotzell Road?
it's
One is 55 and the other one is 44 though.
40. No, I think it's 45.
Is it?
I think it's 45. And they are right next to each other.
Yeah.
So yes, they're on the same
Yeah.
side. The one portion of this plan is actually, well, this one doesn't really show how we figured it out, but this one, the little one, I have a little one we can look at. I'll give this to you.
Steep grade there and then there's a cemetery up on top of the hill there too.
And it says woodlands, they say it. Must be-
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this little portion right here
Mm-hmm.
is owned by the Kusis. And this portion is owned by the Summers. So they are swapping this little portion to the Summers. And this larger portion is going to the Kusis. And their driveway is on this side of the property. So this map is a little bit easier to, I think, kind of see.
Yeah, let me read what it says here on the EAF form for everyone, because I think that's useful. It says the owner of the Summers and QC want to exchange these 2 small parcels, less than 1 acre each, to protect against future use of dirt bikes, ATVs, placement of storage, etc. Permit annual maintenance of parcel 4 by one owner, QC, and allow the owner of parcel 4, QC, to landscape and maintain broader access to full parcel.
Okay, so Summers is going.
I'm not sure how it would, I think it's a good goal, but not sure
They're
how it
gonna
would
take
prevent
on
the use of.
the
dirt
maintenance of
bikes,
this piece,
ATVs,
Summers is.
storage.
And then Kusis are taking.
Well, they have a private
this
drive
piece.
that,
They're
really a
Summers.
private drive that comes up through
They're
there.
basically swapping the pieces.
So I don't know if they've ever, I've never heard.
Okay,
of
so
any problems
QC end
like
up
that.
owning that.
Or even if anybody's
Kusi
got
Owns it now.
somebody should
Yeah,
have
so
a.
this is.
So
this is
maybe it's so
going
that they
to
can, Summers can
Summers.
I saw, that's
But-
gonna end up. with
Fencing
$1 million.
or something.
fencing or no
Property maintenance
trespassing or.
purposes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Whatever.
easier for them. And then this
So
piece
this
is
is-
owned currently
this
by
one is-
Summers, but that is going to
QC?
Kusi.
That's this area here.
No, I
Yeah,
thought
and their
this,
house is kind of out in here.
cause QCO's part of the lot 4, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I'm assuming he's on this
To
side.
just kind of show
Oh,
you
okay, so he's gonna get really a bigger back.
Yeah.
It looks like it, but they say that the acreage and go for them if they're saying the acreage is similar.
I don't see how there's any conservation issue.
No, there's woodland
This is
there, but it doesn't
Kusi's
seem to be
house.
threatened by this. so.
This is.
Actually, Jerry's got
Summers'
1,500.
And this
apple
is
trees
the
up there.
little piece
Wow.
of property that's gonna go to Summers
um,
that
Which I
Kusi
thought was a lot.
owns, cause their
Yeah,
driveway comes
yeah.
right
Should
here.
we put on the, well, I guess we should say we have no comments, cause I don't think we need to
Right.
say positive
And
or
then this
negative.
piece is gonna.
Yeah.
Just
come,
change
this
that.
piece,
Oh, that can-
just for property maintenance purposes.
No comments.
Okay, I'll just check the box that
Okay,
do not find any aspect of the project to significantly impact the environment. I guess I should state that as a motion for the
Still
minutes.
have to sign that or not?
So it doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll state a motion that regarding application 2024-4P. That the Forest Conservation Board, having reviewed the application, we do not find any aspect of the project to significantly impact the environment.
I second.
Okay. So we will do the roll. Chairman Watson,
Aye.
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
Aye.
and Member Williver,
I,
Member Kraus,
Aye.
and Member Host.
Hi.
I'll
Okay,
leave this here for her too. Well, you should give me an extra copy, I think. You didn't get this, did you?
Yeah, I did hear
You did.
someplace.
okay. Oh, no, you didn't, maybe. Okay. Let's put this.
this goes with this.
Okay, the next one is, Marjorie said that it was, it's before the planning board, but now it's a zoning board issue.
first, yes.
Yeah, first.
So they have two lots that they are subdividing. Their property is currently right in the middle. So these two lots are on each side of the current property that's there. So they're basically wanting to take these two lots, one on each side, and build a house and build a house. And the problem with that was the lot, I believe it's lot 2, they are not compliant with the 110-foot setback, being at 150 feet wide. So it's technically a flag lot, so they have to go before the zoning board in May. Technically, this was going to get pushed to the April planning meeting, even though we did not receive the application by the 10th. But because now they need the area variance, we're slowing it down a little bit. So they will go before the May zoning board for an area variance on the one lot, just so that basically it'll comply, well, they'll be in compliance to be able to build on that lot as well.
May I ask why it was going to be pushed, even though it didn't meet the deadline?
Well, it was not pushed just because I think Scott Strock was going to be that, like, April was his last month. And we have many meetings scheduled already, or many public hearings scheduled, if everyone returns for May. So it was kind of a, let's get it in and see if we can get everything rolling and make the April meeting. So now they're looking actually like it might end up being the June planning meeting by the time they get done with everything. So,
Yeah, cause see how this is all penciled?
Yes.
So, and we don't usually take that, right, Dave? Just the pencil. Of what the,
Somebody, filled it in.
Goosey.
yeah,
yeah, they,
Oh, this is the QC's?
No,
No.
there's that.
Yeah,
This
so,
is the new one, the Valley,
or maybe we're looking at, or maybe we're looking at. the
that
bigger
one, yeah.
Oh,
that
oh,
one,
that
you
one,
haven't-
when's the, okay, that's why I'm
Okay,
confused.
sorry.
No, I was,
Okay, so
But
this
yes,
is,
I did
this is the
notice that too.
Baileys.
Could I just weigh in on this one a little bit?
yeah,
Because I looked at it today. It's really interesting. It's very close to where I live, and that property, that sale of that property, I watched it. It's really steep.
Yes.
And and when I was looking at the EAF, they didn't, I think they checked no, but it's right adjacent to High Trail.
Right.
And so there's pedestrian and bicycle. A lot of people bike right there, and the driveway would be really right adjacent to the gravel kind of parking lot and where people get on the trail. And then the other thing that I thought could be a potential concern to the property where they wanted to subdivide on the west side. And that would be storm discharge, any kind of storm runoff, because it is really steep in there.
Yes, and you know, they stated, when asked about storm, they said stormwater increases would be minimal,
Right.
no off-site impact foreseeable. But that's what they're gonna say, but I agree with you, I know that property, a friend of mine who died, that was her home.
Oh,
And, at least they checked yes for steep
Steep
slope.
slope, right?
But when you factor in any runoff, especially with a steep slope, it's certainly not, I can't see how
I'm trying to
they can
picture what
claim
this
it'll be
is.
minimal.
Right. And if you're
Okay.
paving more and you have less
Fine.
surface that can absorb the water.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, so there are updated plans out on the derivation table for this project, with that 110-foot setback, and they have it, I think it's like, I wanna say 90 feet, wide, which is why they need the area variance, but I do believe that was something that we discussed at the, at our, project review committee as well about the steep slope. So, I don't think they really had any issues with it that I remember, because we didn't really have to discuss any more regarding the EAF that they submitted. So most of the issues we had were just this lot 2 setback. And the minimum width of at the road, that was also a concern. And they just wanted where the electric poles were located on here. They actually wanted that written in because they assumed that that's where they were. So if they needed an easement for some reason, they would have to get an easement, but it looks as though on the new plans, they're good.
yeah, I sort of have thank you. I sort of have a point of order here, and that is, what are we reviewing this for? Are we reviewing this as a zoning application? Are we reviewing it as a planning board application?
I
Or
would say,
both?
right now it's planning because that's where it came through first.
Okay,
But they referred them to zoning. So I did
So
put on the sheet too that, it was at first
we'll see it
originally a
again next
planning.
month though, right?
You will see it again next month, yes. Yep, because it's gonna come through the zoning board regarding that area variance.
so we really should then review it, if it's going to the zoning board first, and we're gonna see it again, I hope, before it
Yeah.
goes before the planning board.
Yes,
Then we should review it tonight as a zoning application.
we could do that.
Because that's who we would be making, and we were giving input to at this point.
Correct, yes,
Yeah.
okay, so that's fine, and it would be 2Z then, the numbers 2, so that's the second area variance. That we
So
have.
these are existing lots, this is already a lot, and they're,
No, this is a
Set.
subdivision currently, so they will have to come back with site plans for each one of those lots too.
and that's what we would see next month.
That's what you would see, yes.
Before the planning board, before it goes to the planning
And I
board.
think it's gonna go through the June planning board. Somebody trying to break into someone's vehicle out there? It's,
It's mine.
it's a Ford, yep, okay. There's someone parked out there, very close, with the lights on,
Oh, yeah.
so maybe,
Is it red?
nope, it's
I
white.
think they were looking for me.
Oh,
That's why they were trying to break into your truck?
No.
They just want your tools, they don't want you.
excitement. No.
A friend of mine pointed out that whenever you hear that, people don't say, oh, somebody's car's getting broken into. Everybody says, oh, somebody's alarm is.
Lost,
Car,
somebody
yeah.
lost their car.
It can't be broken into,
Yeah.
right? Those things are things
Actually, it does happen in my parking lot in the city. Cars, not so much recently because they increased security, but
Okay.
like 14 cars were vandalized.
Yeah, it's
And a
bad.
couple were stolen during that Kia craze.
Yeah, it's been crazy around the Rochester area lately.
So
Okay,
anyway,
so-
so somebody bought a
Right
house
now
on a
it's-
big lot.
So the lot
center
3, the
It's
center,
existing,
This
Yep,
person
it
Doesn't
remains
is subdividing.
correct.
right.
So this is, by my understanding, this is all owned by the Baileys. And he is subdividing off a property on the left, which is lot 1, and a property on the right of him, which is technically lot 2. Lot 2 is the one where they do not have the clearance for the 150 feet wide at the 110 foot setback from the center line of the property.
So lot 2 is the one that's going before the planning board. There aren't, so I mean, the zoning board.
Zoning.
There
yes,
aren't.
This is the only one that has the zoning issue.
Right.
correct,
The other one
yes.
does not have a zoning issue.
Correct.
Okay.
And this issue is the line,
I think this part is too narrow
okay.
to
So
meet
they're
current
essentially
standards.
cramming 3 new houses into land that really doesn't accommodate 3
Only
houses.
has 1, yep,
But
currently.
they want to maximize their profits.
Yeah.
I know that's on the record, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's no God-given or town-given right to subdivide property. A lot of people don't understand that. I had neighbors who had bought the property across the street from me, that was 4 acres. And he said, well, we were thinking we might divide it into 2 lots and sell the other lot to my neighbor. I said, well, it's not that easy. He said, oh, it isn't? So anyway, because it would never have perked for 2 houses on that property. So what's the acreage size on this?
Total is 6.5.
Just that one, you're right.
Lot for lot 2.
Oh, each lot they want
It's
to build on
2.
is about 2
2.
acres.
0.3.
And I do have
Yeah,
this,
2.308.
I do have this out on the derivation table.
I saw it.
Did you see this? Okay, yes.
Okay, so
this
it
is
would be
the
all of
sloped
this.
area, I
Right,
guess, that's
But with
really.
the house right in the
Very
corner.
steep, yes.
Yeah.
The shaded area is what slopes and it has the percentage.
And where the trail is, the trail is where? Back here, here's, no, that says.
The
Here.
trail is immediately
Gravel
West.
right here.
Yeah,
See, it's right. Here's the gravel trail.
Oh, the
So
parking and then, oh, yes, I remember, yes, I see.
There's parking on both the north and south side of
So-
251.
Oh, right.
here's what you're looking at too, where the slopes are.
Martin,
this
would you
is the
tell Mr.
lot that
Bailey is
we're
living in Nadine
issuing.
Chapman's house, the existing house.
So there's,
Cute.
I
that's
don't
not in
know.
there.
Let
I
me
know
see.
that this is slope is quite a bit, so in the,
He's at. Well, it's, okay, so, no, he is in Pittsburgh. His applicant address says 29 Wenham Lane, Pittsburgh.
And that's, Bailey or,
Yes, that's Steve Bailey.
and so that's the current, that's the owner, the current owner of the property is
Correct.
Bailey, okay.
Yes. And I don't know who Khan is, I believe, because it is hyphenated, the Bailey Khan subdivision on the plans. So I don't know if there is somebody else that is on this subdivision with him, but
Oh, I thought it was just a hyphenated last name.
So they don't even live there.
oh, that could be the case too. I didn't think about that.
When they
So
note
what they're doing-
adjacent agricultural operations, they note Tom Rodenhouse
We'll
twice.
see all of that again.
And they don't note Bob Purgastow, who's both on their side of the road and across the road.
Correct, and when I submitted it, through the Monroe County Planning and Development for this. Roden House came up once, and then there was a second one, it's slipping my
Well,
mind right now, let me
And
see if
his
I.
daughter had the place that is closest to the Lehigh Trail.
Okay,
But then his home is near Beth on Town Line Road,
oh, okay,
except I think they moved to Colorado.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his daughter doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah, that driveway for that is off of Town Line Road. That's
Also, I mean, it's gonna be a
Yes.
problem having that many curb cuts on a busy
Very.
road. They're gonna have to get
that
state
is
approval
something
for
they have to
that.
Yeah,
do,
state
yes,
approval.
Yeah.
correct,
Yeah.
yeah.
One like this one, they might want to turn into one.
They should. They won't want to, but they should.
Well, the people may not want to, but
Right.
the state may say,
Yeah,
And
because we had no question,
Because
our
it is
house
on
was
state.
existing first. And we had no say in it. No
Oh.
say at all,
that you would share the end of the driveway.
right?
State,
The state told us that was the way.
You have to look at line of sight. too.
the other property, Pat, that came up was, on Rush Mendon Road, and it was
Right,
Robert
so that makes
Ferguson.
Yeah,
longest
Yeah,
distance.
so
yeah,
that
he
was the
has
problem.
both north and south of Route 251, and
Gotcha.
he has livestock.
Okay,
They
yeah,
put crops.
they
for,
did put crap, but,
Well, for Tom Rodenhouse, they did. Dr. Rodenhouse.
okay, yep,
Okay, well, I'm gonna say that I think we should recommend against this. I think it's an increase in density in an environmentally sensitive area. With natural features and also near a trail and the parking for that trail. And it doesn't meet the current zoning requirements. For those reasons, I guess I'll make a motion that we recommend that the zoning board not approve this proposal.
Although they very well may.
Or,
Right,
We can't, all we can do is
Yeah.
recommend.
yep,
or just the one lot.
That's all we have the right to talk about.
Right, right.
because this is the lot. that
Correct.
had
Right.
the
Yeah.
Zoning
for some,
exception.
I would second.
okay,
Because I guess the other one meets the zoning requirement, so nobody
Yeah, for that part.
nobody weighs in on that. but
Doesn't
for
really
this one-
show steep slope over here, but here it says 10%. I don't know if that's, it just says minutes.
Well, it's actually, I didn't put that in my motion, but I guess for zoning, that wouldn't be an issue, it would just be an issue. You know.
Yes.
I also do want to, if, did we pass the motion? We didn't have a vote yet.
no, we haven't voted.
We have a second.
All right, so we will do that, Chairman Watson,
Aye,
Deputy Chairwoman Liederman,
Aye,
Member Wolliver, Member Kraus,
Aye.
and Member Hoke,
Aye.
okay?
and I would like to also add for the minutes that, you know, I don't know if I can say insist. We feel it is extremely important that we review this again before it goes to the planning board.
Okay,
Because we have reviewed it only on the basis of zoning. We will definitely have additional comments on the basis of planning.
okay,
So that goes with this too.
I really strongly think it's going to go before June, so you would definitely get it in May.
So can I know you brought this over, can I just put it with it?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, that's totally fine.
Did you want to write anything in there?
Yes, okay, I guess, well,
Oh, you had it.
I guess we have to fill in the comment sheet.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right, that's okay.
I can pretty much come up with the same thing. I hope I'm fairly consistent.
Is this the same map?
Yeah.
Are you able to copy maps this big in the office? Where do you
Nope.
send them,
Well,
the people?
usually to Happy Town, but a lot of times the surveyors or the engineers already have someone they work with, so we just request that they give us 12 copies. And we haven't had a copy job yet, for the big maps. Those are needed by the engineers and surveyors, but we will do copies of applications here for 25 cents a copy, so.
This big?
No, no,
Okay.
I mean, like the application, like the
Oh.
8.5 by 11, that's all we will do.
I'm trying. I have the North Rush Cemetery map that I had said about a year ago I would get copied in.
I would say Happy Town's probably the closest.
Where's that?
That's right in Lima, right
Okay.
on Main Street, so.
Okay,
What is it, a map of?
the North Rush. Bromores.
Oh, right next to Glenwood, yeah. And why that?
I got roped into that. So and the faithful leader of that, Rusty doesn't have clear map lines of like where Moore's house is to where the cemetery begins.
Close.
And by the way, I apologize, on the agenda, this should have been 6B rather than 7. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, next,
Next is, I think, that's
tree cutting in Rush Parks.
Okay, so shall I give a summary of what I know so far?
yes.
Okay, so at the town board meeting, I believe it was March 27th, and DJ Kyle was giving the highway report, and he reported that a tree had gone down at the 100-acre park, and they had to go and they had to clean it up, and that for anyone that hasn't been there, the 100-acre nature park butts right up to a subdivision that's on the Henrietta side, and you access it from East River Road. So you have a big stand of forest, of mature trees, right up to the property line of where these people chose to build homes or, bought homes. So, the Rush RPA became concerned just because of things that DJ said, that trees had to be removed from that area to prevent any further property damage.
Branches are leaning over on other people's property, and that branch broke onto the people's property, just missing their shed.
Right. I actually went and walked there, and I saw the tree that had gone down and how it had all been cut up. So the Rush RPA became concerned about that just because of tree removal in the park and mature trees, and selective removal would be completely appropriate. Trees that are hanging over into people's property or dead trees. So I went and I spoke to DJ, and just spoke to him about his intent and what he was planning to do there. There's nothing in his plans immediately. This is down the road. He's very interested in the best interest of the town, and so that the town isn't liable for trees that end up on sheds or pools or whatnot. I do want to add this in. When I spoke to Julia, and I think this is the first step, we really need to find out the town's liability if a tree goes down. And she and I had an interesting conversation about this because who is responsible?
Yep.
It happens all the time that trees fall over.
Not necessarily.
So that's one aspect of it, but
Really?
long story short, when I spoke to DJ, he really is, I think completely on board in working collaboratively, getting someone quite knowledgeable to designate trees that could be a menace. You know, in the 100-acre nature park, as far as mitigating property damage. And that's kind of where we are right now. But I brought it to the attention of the board just to see if it's something we need to take a position on, the removal of trees in the park.
That's what the tree, isn't that now what the tree committee?
We-
Yeah,
We could recommend
yes,
they be consulted, you know, before any cutting is done.
yeah.
If that's. what
And
we-
at the time that this all took place, they weren't even up and running yet. And so that's why I went and spoke to him as a member of our Rush RPA, and why I bring it to you as well.
It's still our jurisdiction too. I mean, it's not like we have to keep hands off because there's a tree advisory
Is
committee.
there access to the park on the Henrietta, from the Henrietta side?
No,
Not
I don't
easy.
get to the-
they have to go around to Henrietta.
Yeah,
So there is some kind of an access to get in there?
They have to go around the roads to the person's house and they
Yeah.
have to get in their backyard.
Oh, okay.
So there is no access.
Yeah.
There's fencing.
See, as far as liability is concerned, I just think there shouldn't be a knee-jerk reaction to it. Because again, I'm not a lawyer and I don't pretend to be. I deal with legal issues all the time. I have for 46 years. And it's my understanding, which could be wrong. But my understanding is if a tree is owned by one person and it falls on another person's property, it's not always the owner of the tree who would have liability. They definitely would have liability if the owner knew or should have known that there was a problem, that the tree was rotting or that the tree was dead or that the tree was leaning, you know, and then didn't do anything about it. Then it could be an issue of negligence. If it's something that there's a windstorm and an otherwise healthy tree gets blown over and it falls onto a neighbor's property, that's not negligence by the owner. And it may be the problem of the person onto whose property it falls on. I don't know, but I think that's a real possibility that the town attorney should be consulted about before we say, oh, we got to do this, this, and this because we're going to be liable. Well, let's get the attorney's opinion as to where our liability starts and ends. That's and as far as yeah, we could either take a position on it, you know, on the situation, or our position could be that it goes, you know, that the tree advisory committee be consulted before anything is done, or both. That's really up to us. I mean, it's only a recommendation anyway, so.
I think everybody that wanted to be on the tree advisory committee knows something about trees. Somebody's, you know, could volunteer, not volunteer, be part of their job to go in and identify some hazardous trees or trees that should be taken down.
or-
yes.
Yes, okay.
Well, that's kind of where I left it with DJ, is that we would find someone that could come and designate trees that could present a hazard, and then they would be selectively removed. Because nobody wants property damage. The thing about it is, this area is not easily accessible for, you know, it's going to cost a lot of money to remove trees there, and that's a factor. So he's really thinking ahead to the whole budget aspect of this as well. But, you know, I think Julia brings up a really interesting point too about who's liable. On my property in the last 2 years, 3 trees have gone down. And one, well, ash trees are an issue, but just the winds that we have nowadays, or grounds that are completely saturated because of rain. I just think we're going to see more and more of this, of trees toppling.
Unfortunately, no,
At one point, there was a problem with the people from, on the Henrietta side and encroaching on the
yes.
property,
On the town
doing some of their
property.
own clearing, right?
Yes.
They do. They very much do that. And they also dispose of things on the Rush property.
They can be arrested for that if anybody wanted to.
More than just grass and branches and things like that, like
I
trash.
did see some things more than grass and branches, yes. That, well, you know what? It's very easy in that situation to kind of just move back a little bit, right? And because it's just forest back there, so you start kind of moving things out of your yard back into that area.
Mm-hmm. We have a neighbor that does that.
And that would be, actually, that would be another argument against, that would be another argument against taking any trees that you didn't absolutely have to. Because if you were to, say, cut a swath along the side, then property owners, they wouldn't want tall grass there doing whatever happens in tall grass. A lot of people don't like that. And then that would be tempted to mow it, which is in effect appropriating town property.
Right.
There was that issue in Honeoye Falls where people were along that pond there were cutting the grass, and with their property line met the public owned line. They were told, no, you can't do that. Because that's making it a part of your property. The people who live along the canal face something because, if you're gonna cut you can cut the grass that goes alongside the canal, but then you have to pay rent to the state for the land where you're mowing the grass, even though it's adjacent to your property. So that would be another problem. One of the many problems if we did wholesale tree cutting is that would then open that whole issue. But I think, as I could say, and I think as some of us have said in other conversations, I mean, I think Sue, you mentioned that the people who have houses and properties next to the forest are probably, that's considered premium property because they get the benefit of being next to the forest. Well, you can't have it both ways. If you get the benefit of being next to the forest, then you also get some issues that come with that. And that's not the town's problem. And I hope the town will be firm on that issue. If there are complaints from the homeowners, well, you chose to live next to a town forest. By which I don't mean anything goes. I mean, we want to be good neighbors too, of course.
And so we want to move on from that?
Well, do we want to do something formal or not? Beth, would you like to state a motion on this?
I think, how would I say this formally? I think moving forward, I think maybe our position would be to certainly preserve healthy trees and the forest and the habitat. There's vernal pools in that area that are very important to the 100-acre park as far as preserving that as a feature of the park and habitat. So, but it's also something that I want to work with DJ Kyle on. And so anything moving forward, that he's part of the process of deciding which trees are healthy, which need to go because they really could present a serious issue to property. And that the town, this would be something outside of our jurisdiction, but we need to find out about liability. That's a really good point. So consulting the town's attorney.
And when's the next meeting for the tree advisory committee?
I don't know that.
We're gonna have a couple of this.
What's
I
that?
think Dan said they got 1 or 2 this month,
Wow.
trying to get them up to speed,
Oh, okay.
and then it's gonna go out longer, maybe once a month or once every couple of months, something like that, but initially it's gonna be a couple, 3 times a month, I guess.
Maybe put it on for old business for next month.
Good idea.
Okay, so we'll table that and put it on our agenda for next one.
Sure. And thanks to Beth for gathering this information and talking to DJ and so on.
Luther, did they have any liability discussion at the town board meeting? When this was being discussed or?
Well,
No? I was just
Julia
curious.
is pretty much on the money with her assessment of it.
Yeah.
The only thing is if a neighbor notices like the trees
Not looking good.
cracking or
Yeah.
potentially can do damage, they actually have to send written notice to the owner of that tree of whatever tree is the issue. It's not a blanket, your trees are a problem, what tree? Right? And then if we fail to act on it, then we are on the hook for it, but natural wind blowing it over, something of that order, it would be an uphill fight for that owner. Now, we can be the nice people, maintain our woods and try to clean things up, but if you're talking legal, they've got to write written notice of what tree and what the problem is to us.
Great, and maybe that needs to be stated for the record, at a town board meeting, and because I think there is a lot of, I'm sorry?
We'll get the lawyer to,
Yes,
Yeah,
right,
Kevin, right.
Right.
That's why I asked if
Yes.
they came up with anything then, because I know Kevin's here for the town board meetings. so-
right.
Yeah.
Because I obviously there is a lot of misunderstanding about that, possibly even by the town highway superintendent. That should, because if we're gonna be making decisions, obviously we should be making them, with a clear understanding. We don't wanna spend a lot of money or damage the woods because, oh, we're gonna be liable if we're not liable. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
we'll check with the town lawyer.
Can I just say this too? I would invite anyone that feels comfortable to do so and would like to go and take a walk in that area. Not just for the beauty of it, but as well, just to kind of get a sense of it. It was an eye opener for me to go back there and have a look at the trees. I saw the tree that had gone down, miraculously did no damage. It ended up in their yard, but it's good to go and see it firsthand as well.
I'm gonna say it, we'll get out in the air. The park needs funding and maintenance and so forth, and getting the arborist over there, find out exactly what's over there, isn't gonna hurt, but I know my dad, we had our woods logged years ago. Got rid of a lot of the dead wood, cleaned it out, and it's a pretty healthy woods right now. I'm willing to bet that 100 acres hasn't been logged forever.
Yeah.
And maybe something you may want to consider that would help fund the committee or the park. I'm guessing, I'm still catching up on a lot of this stuff here, but it would help fund it, to make the forest healthier. Yes, it's gonna look terrible for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But once it comes back, it's gonna really be something. So it may be something to think about. It just, like I say, we got the advisory board and the conservation board. I'm just throwing it out there. I know logging and, some people, they don't wanna hear it, but the Adirondacks is in trouble. Cause they stopped all the logging, a lot of the logging up there.
Go to Mendon Ponds Park.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
There's trees all through the woods there
So-
that are down and that have come, they lay there. I mean, if the wood could be used, maybe that would be, something to get cleaned up, but I mean, countless numbers of trees go down there each year,
Since
so.
the ice storm, especially 1991.
91, yes.
The poplars just came down in Mendon Ponds.
Oh,
Right
really?
across the road,
Oh, okay,
big ones.
all right, yeah.
They snap right off with a heartbeat.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
the
they're
one
fine.
there by Devil's Bathtub, roots and all came folded right over.
Wow.
I'm just saying is they have an
It's a
open
good
mind
point.
and look at different things.
Yeah, I mean, we know that would be a controversial issue, but I'm not against, I'm not afraid to talk about anything. Anything, should be, we shouldn't rule anything out without discussing it. And, yeah,
That's how this whole thing came about.
and
is
maybe
because-
approving it. I'm not saying we need to discuss it and then say no, just we have to have an open mind.
Yeah.
And.
The first proposal over there was to, clear cut it. for farming, right? Or, and drainage.
Mhm.
But now we have a park.
Yeah.
Beth, you're in the dark.
I know.
Oh,
We're in
she's
the-
in the eclipse again?
No. I had to go into this room because there's people talking out there. Let me go put a light on.
Oh, you're.
No, you're
I
fine.
was just saying, I kept seeing her get darker,
like
darker.
she's
It
in
looked
bed.
like the eclipse. In the bathroom.
No, the eclipse that we all missed.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't agree. I don't think we missed it. We missed, we
it
missed.
was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was cool. It was cool,
Yeah,
but
I knew it was gonna be a cloudy day in April in Rochester. We're just,
I just glad it didn't rain, so we could at least be
You're right.
outdoors and experience.
yes, yeah.
true,
that is-
true.
EMC,
Okay. So Beth went to the February,
No, March.
we went to the March one, no, that was just,
Oh, no, I misspoke. I didn't go to March. It was February. You're right.
try to tag team it. But so Beth went to the February one, which had a ton on seeker. And she reported beautifully on that at our
Last week.
March Conservation Board meeting.
Right.
Late today, I sent all of you, the PDF, they're calling it a seeker cookbook. So that came out of what the meeting Beth went to. Now they're sharing all of this. And, I haven't had a chance to open the attachment or the link or anything, but, you all have it now. And the March meeting, March 20th, it was focused entirely on the solar eclipse. Because it was March 20th and the eclipse was supposed to be the 8th of April. Interestingly, on March 20th, the Commissioner of Public Health, Dr. Michael Mendoza, stepped down that day, effective immediately. And we assume, and no reason was given, but that was the day of the tragedy discovered at the reservoir for Highland Cod. And I've tried to understand these issues since. I don't see personally how Dr. Mendoza could be held responsible. There's a county, apart from the Environmental Management Committee Council, there is a county environmental entity that really oversees things like reservoirs. And I've read that, yes, the reservoir should be covered, but they had all these discussions. They decided not to cover the reservoirs at Highland Park and Cobb's Hill Park because it's such a public asset. People love to be there, to walk around them, to, enjoy the beauty and all that. So those decisions were made. And I don't think it was Dr. Mendoza's responsibility, but
Somebody's gotta take the fall.
yeah, and he sure did. Interestingly,
Unless there was some other reason entirely that we
yeah,
don't know.
that we don't know
Right,
about.
It's possible.
Yeah.
The Rush Reservoir
It's covered.
is covered.
I know that.
Nobody sees it as a park. Nobody's over there just meditating on the beauty or anything. It's covered, so
We feel very safe.
yes.
That will
was
be no
great.
bodies floating in our water.
Although we get our water before it gets to the reservoir, but
When I lived in Britain and when I lived in the city, I would go all the time to the Cobb's Hill Reservoir and take that walk around it.
Yeah.
And you know, it was, on the one hand, you know, it was always, ever since I was a kid, you know, we would do that, and it was beautiful to look at the reservoir and the water and. And a lot of us would sometimes say, but isn't that pretty vulnerable? You know, as public water,
Yeah.
right out like that.
Or
I
just
mean,
even the birds flying over.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, and there are environmental particles in the atmosphere that also get in
Get in
there.
there.
And
Yeah.
what about breeding mosquitoes? I don't know. I mean, well, one of them has a fountain. I don't know if they both do.
I think there used to be one at Cobb's Hill, and I think they stopped operating it. I think there always was at Highland. I
There
believe.
is one at Highland Park, so we
Yeah.
went last year and my daughter actually got gorgeous photos out there. You know, she was taking photography at the time. And, you know, that did kind of come to mind when we were out there, I'm like, how is this monitored? Because there are cameras on the backs of like the one building that's there are cameras over there. Are they working? Does someone watch these cameras all the time? But there is a good, like substantial metal fencing that is
Yeah.
around there, so I don't know.
They ultimately saw video footage of this gentleman somehow getting over the fence, and they said acting very erratically. I don't think it's right on the video footage, but he must have fallen in, so.
It's a steep slope there going into.
But he was there a month,
Oh.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
the
you do have
water,
to wonder.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was, what was going on in the
Million gallons.
EMC meeting.
And it's still.
But
not-
there's, I heard it's still not.
The other thing I sent you late today, in addition to the seeker thing, which was really Beth's thing that she reported on last time. There is out of Cornell, a research team doing what they're calling a breeding bird atlas survey. And I sent you all the information on that. So they're looking for properties where they could do that. Although they said our lands, 120 some acres, did not fit their needs. So even though we have forest, wetland, cropland, shrub, or scrub land, and they mention all of that, the only thing we don't have is the salt marsh. But so, anyway, you all have it, you can contact the man in charge, his email is in there.
Well, if they wouldn't want yours, they wouldn't want mine.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't give a reason, he said it didn't fit. So that's it.
So can I just add this on to our EMC kind of notes? Because at the last meeting, I had also mentioned about Clement Chung, and he did the interview on WXXI, and the whole focus was stormwater and stormwater runoff and
yeah.
people's flooding in their yards and in their basements and mitigating that. So it's really interesting where I am right now. Yesterday, they got almost 4 inches of rain.
Oh, wow.
See, and when you
Here
disturb
at
them, they
Jekyll
don't
Island.
wake up for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I was also talking to people on my travels here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who are having huge issues because they get these rain events and water in their yard, water in their basements, and all kinds of flooding. And I think more than ever, the work that we do at looking at stormwater and where water goes is going to be really important.
I think it's a good point. It gets to be more and more important. And where in the past it might have been, oh, well, it's an overreaction, it'll all be okay. You know, we can't do that. You know,
No.
it's not gonna be okay. And, you know, we may have to be more, you know, more restrictive as a town than we have been in the past
Well,
because of
look at
that.
Henrietta, there's always water issues, it seems.
Yeah,
And we've
And-
had serious ones here.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
code committee meeting we had today, this
I
morning.
didn't even know if I should still be putting that on there. I'm glad I did.
Yeah, it's still
Still active.
in the process. And we're still going over the residential code update. What is happening with the town.
Yes, we discussed it last night. we're gonna kick it back. We've got some comments on it. In general, everybody likes it. In the majority of the stuff that's in there, anything for new construction, is fine. What we like to do, and I'm careful how I'm saying this because I don't wanna say I'm speaking for the whole board, but the consensus was, we'd like to see it extended up to UC's old car lot up there.
Yeah.
To the churches and so forth. We would like to see, there's a little section of, comes down. By Vince Banks's old property. Then goes up by the river, and then kicks back out, it's go right across that park, just include the park.
Yeah.
I know it's simple stuff, right?
Is this for the multi-use,
This is probably,
for the Hamlet?
Hamlet
Hamlet.
Multi-use, okay.
The biggest thing that the conversation came back is engineering for new use buildings, having a design engineer come up with it. And our thought is if take Montesano's up there and let's say a barber shop wants to come in there, well, is he really changing the characteristics of much of anything? He doesn't change the building, hangs out a barber pole, goes to work or a petition. Right? Why make him go through the expense of having engineer drawings come in with architectural review board and the whole thing? So now if they were gonna tear Montesano's down and rebuild it, then it goes back into this checkbox. Okay, now it's gotta be engineered. We're just trying to come up with a flow chart kind of. Where somebody can come into the town and say, hey, I wanna take over a box old store. I'm gonna do this, do that, well, the building inspector can just, or whoever, code enforcement. Run down and check, what are you gonna do this, changing the lighting? No. Gonna have more people, well, if I have, 4, 5, 10, 15 cars there, okay, well, then that flows over to here, right? Maybe he needs to do some engineering, but not a complete package. Again, new construction, the thing's fine, right? Extensive modifications is fine. But we're just trying to help out the little guy who comes in here or woman comes in here. It may not have that $5,000 to $10,000 to spend on engineering. And is it necessary? So that's what we're gonna kick back to the code board. And I think Dan's gonna take it to them and see what we can work out with a flow chart for the smaller non-disturbed or, non-major changes of businesses.
I think one of the functions is because of the Catholic Church. There's a big meeting tomorrow on it as far as what the usage could be and if someone purchases it and then someone wants to come, so they're working on ideas and trying to figure out, and I
Well,
think,
that would fall under.
right, because as long as they're not changing the structure, they're just reworking inside and, obviously it cannot be used. As
Well,
storage.
I think you gotta look at, I know there's some towns, and I'm drawing a blank who it is, but they use a dollar value, right? So you come in and you're gonna, let's say you're gonna take the church, it can't be done, let's say you're gonna put apartments in there,
Mhm,
senior homes,
right,
right? That's obviously huge money. Fixing the church and then installing all the apartments, right? So that would definitely come into the planning board.
Yeah.
Right?
So
then somebody had mentioned that. That had come, yeah, that had come around.
Yeah.
There's lots of things
We're
coming
just
around.
trying to keep the simple ones here. Hey, I'm coming in, I'm not really doing, I got 2 cars, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now,
Simple stuff.
what is that committee? Is it people from the church?
People from the
Nothing
church.
involved with the town or any
If
town?
it's open to anybody,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, there's a
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
fire went out. 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock tomorrow,
or at
Is
the
it 6?
pavilion.
Okay.
Is it 6 or 5?
6.
Okay,
There is
We were just-
information out on the table.
okay, we
here.
were just having a discussion at supper lunch time.
there was, I may have mentioned this before, so stop me if I'm repeating myself here. But there was a proposal in front of the state legislature. I don't know where, if anywhere, it stands now. That the proposal would exempt churches from all town rules and restrictions if they want to build housing on church property or any religious affiliated organization, temples, mosques, whatever. I think, yeah, so, again, I don't know, I think that we would have probably heard something if it had been approved. I don't know if it's still under discussion. But I mean, that's a little scary if that's really what it would do. How would anybody know that, you didn't have the sewer lines for it if it didn't involve
Right.
the town permitting process? But I definitely read that it was a proposal as a means of expanding housing. I think, a similar, just a different take on the concept. Was it last year or the year before that was going to require each town to increase the number of housing units or face tax consequences. And that was defeated. But I think this was maybe another attempt, because there are definitely are problems. The question is, what do you do about it?
Yeah, they have a major septic issue too, right? Over there. I think it's under the.
Under the drive, the
the
parking.
lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
so.
Yeah.
They got-
Yeah,
Oh,
so, yeah, there would have to be
How
probably
does that
some
even-
engineering involved in it,
How
but
could it work? How has it worked all this time if it's under the blacktop?
It was the same thing at the big end.
Uh,
Till it caved in.
that's the thing, everything can be just fine until.
right.
Oh, we never had a problem.
Yeah, no.
I just put a board over it.
It's like, how did they get
I
to
know a
it? If
house
it's
that
under
does
the
that
parking
too.
lot? They don't. Oh, okay.
So our code committee is still
Wait,
going.
can I ask a question? So at the church, all those years, it was never pumped out? The septic?
Oh, you can't, didn't get that person.
Yeah,
to the-
I don't know that part,
Oh, no.
but that was in part of the, issues with someone purchasing it. They would have to go through all of the process to be able to, I guess, put
See
in
the
Same thing.
need a new one, or I don't know. I
Same
mean,
thing with any residential.
yes, yep,
So it wouldn't be grandfathered because it would be a new usage, whatever it is.
I would assume,
Mhm.
yeah.
So for the
Yeah,
code
yeah,
committee,
he's done that.
we're still meeting and
He's at the.
still going over some of the residential code updates. But Scott made up a list of fixes or the new code sections needed. And
He's gotta get over it. It's basically-
So he made up this list. And I'll go down through the list quick. Fixes or new code sections needed, site plan application requirements. He says several shortfalls in the planning board site plan review procedures, special permit rules. Planning board special permit lacks clear explanation of many rules for special permits. Chapter 100, which is in here. Subdivision application procedure and approval process requirements are not consistent with current procedures. Time limits after the subdivision and site plan approvals are lacking. How long will your site plan be approved for
Mhm.
before you have to come back again? Because there was, preliminary approved right where I am,
Uh-huh.
for years.
Yeah,
Be-
it sat with only preliminary approval for 9+ years.
Yeah,
The law says if 6 months have elapsed, planning board has in its discretion the right to require resubmission for preliminary approval. But no, that whole cobblestone thing, forget that. There were people who said, hey, things have changed. It's been over 9 years.
Yeah.
We're just asking for it to be reviewed again. Nope. It stood and it was given final approval. Sorry, I know you live there and it's fine.
I was the
Except
first
that-
one to go before the board for it.
There could have been 100 houses in that development without a new review after 9 years had elapsed.
Could there still be?
No,
Well, no, it's been sold and it's
Yeah.
being protected by people who live there. Thank goodness.
temporary dumpsters and storage containers, permit process clarification. Neighboring notifications not mentioned in the code, like the signs that were supposed to be put out, so they're looking into getting price on getting signs made up, reusable signs. Electric vehicle charging stations, not
Dave,
mentioned in the code.
I'm sorry, the signs to notify people that a
Yeah, an
property,
application is under,
Okay.
this property is under review for application.
because we used to,
Sorry. Yeah.
have that.
Yeah.
I don't know
It
what
was a
happened.
requirement at one point. I remember
Yeah.
covering it when I was writing for the
But-
Sentinel. But come to think of it, like I drive by that one on Rushmond Road all the time. Shouldn't there be a sign there? That they've applied for for zoning changes?
15 and,
No, the one,
That we just
the
looked at.
Bailey Cone
The
property.
Bailey, yeah.
oh,
So shouldn't there be a sign on that?
Yeah, but it hasn't been done in years.
Yeah.
The sign's going up, so that's what he wants to get around to. Electric vehicle charging stations. Keep the code book up to date. And there's a process for updating the codes. Do you know anything about that? Scott was saying something about, like once a year or something they update it, but
I think there's
there's a
a-
fee
I think-
for it.
Yes, yes. So through general code, anything that we put through general code has a fee attached to it. I'm not exactly sure how much it is, but yes, was there a committee?
Looks
that
like
they
somebody
had done?
wants to get in.
Oh, Dan,
our supervisor.
admit. Come on in, Dan. Here he's.
Hi, Dan.
Here. Oh, is he he?
He's making
is
sure
he-
his wife is here.
Yeah, he's checking up on it.
Let me see if he's gonna need volume.
Yeah, you can zoom in, then you know somebody is where they're supposed to be.
Hi, Dan. Hold on. Where's the?
You should just be able to get.
Oh, he should be fine.
He may just be in the process of
Yeah,
connecting
And
everything.
does he
Okay.
want to be muted?
There, it's not even there. So. Oh,
Looks like he left.
did he leave?
Yeah.
He left.
It could be
See,
the connection, yeah.
Oh, that could have
Checking.
been, yeah.
Solar
Could've been
energy
certain
system,
Places in our houses.
which is something
it?
new to all of us. A few minor corrections and updates. Townwide drainage district requirements, not stated in the town code. Excavations, residential use allowed with special permit, gravel mining. Grading permits not considered in the code. Definitions, lot width, which we just discussed, and we discussed that kind of a little bit today. Reference a clear definition, minimum area and dimensions of lot. Then sign permits. For your businesses or whatever. Revised procedures needed. And that's it.
Great, well, it sounds like such important, good work. So is Scott's not gonna stay on the code committee
Yeah,
even after he
yeah,
leaves the?
yeah.
town? Good.
And it's really saved the town board a lot of time and. From going, I mean, it's been a lot of work. He's done a lot of work on this, a lot of work. All of the guys, so
You too. Thank you for representing us there.
showed up for the meeting. And that's it I have for there. Luther, you have anything?
No, I went back and talked to the town board, you asked me last month about the Zoom meetings and what you're doing is fine. Thanks to St. Louis, for you guys, is us. I say rules, same deal. One thing I think we talked to Dan a little bit, and while we haven't made it official, I think. And then you probably don't get that many people coming down to see in person. But anybody coming to the town board, that they can send us a letter with what they want to read or what they want to say, because a lot of times this thing doesn't work that great. Right? You can't hear people. I mean, tonight is working great. But tomorrow
It's
might
just
be a different
because of
story.
me.
Yeah.
No.
So,
I'm joking.
No,
um,
I got.
I'll
we're,
jinx
we're gonna
myself.
have them basically submit a paper, what they wanna say, if they wanna talk about cell towers, or they wanna talk about solar panels, whatever. Send us a letter, what you wanna say, so we can follow along and, go from there. If they wanna address us in person, because it's a matter of town issue, we're gonna come down to the town board, but we don't wanna take a chance to miss something or don't understand it correctly. And to be dialogue back and forth. So. We're gonna have some minor, talk with Dan, we're gonna have some of that minor changes, but. Generally, the way it runs, but it's good.
I will mention that I think the problems have been of a more recent vintage. Because I'm thinking even a few years back, and I don't remember those same problems with the zone. And I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember, it seemed to be much smoother. It may have to do with the equipment, that was used then compared to now.
But this is supposed to be improved.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best I've ever seen it work,
Yes.
it's right here. All the meetings I've been on, not that I've been that many, but since I took office, this is the best one right here. because-
Right, but I'm talking even like, I'm like,
You keep saying that, Pat, but it's not,
when it went much smoother, during the pandemic, when everything was on Zoom.
Well, that's probably why, because everything,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and they were very seasoned in it. I used Zoom in my profession, but coming and doing it as a public meeting, I was, because there's a lot of different things that are
Right.
involved, the camera, the projector, the server, in here, and if that's on, and I don't know why it's locked. It really shouldn't be locked unless they don't want me in there. But other than that, that's fine with me. I'm good. But I think because if there were problems last night, it was because Sharon hasn't done it now in a while. So if you use it or don't use it,
Yeah.
you'll
You
lose
lose
it, so I think there might have been something there, but when I left on Wednesday, she had it up in here on the screen. So I don't know. There are times when this is super delayed. So there's those issues as well. And sometimes you can't get it to power on and stay on or get to this screen. So there could have been other issues too. So,
Well, thankfully, I guess Amber Corbin came to the meeting last night and she helped get it up and going, even though I guess you couldn't get on. They had to do some screwing around. I don't know, but they got it going so that Mrs. Morelli can join the meeting.
oh, gotcha. Okay.
The only other thing I wanted to bring out, I know it's conservation board, I'm not quite, I know we deal primarily with the town and the conservation issue, but. Case, the bird flu is a lot closer for these chickens and now it's in cattle, they're finding the cattle. And, people grow their own chickens and so forth, and there's just acceptable to it as. Anybody, the big chicken farms, they sweat it because they got millions of chickens. Right? Where the personal people have only got 5, 10 chickens, right? But I don't know if you guys put anything in the newsletter, or the conservation board or not, or.
we
But
can
just
if you
something to think
want.
about, get word out there that. Just because you got chickens and you think you're safe because of yours, you're not. It's carried by the geese and. Dropped, however it's done, I guess.
there's a lot of cases around this area then, or is it just kind of encroaching?
Was
the
they might,
area?
no, they had a big shot of it up by towards Syracuse.
Oh, okay,
getting
And now
closer.
I've heard
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
in the general area around here, so
and
okay.
want to be over.
into the west of here, there's big chicken farms. Up in Maine, they lost a whole bunch, and they killed millions of chickens.
There goes my price of eggs.
Yeah,
So. I guess that's really all I got for you.
As
okay,
far as the newsletter, I don't know that it would be for us. But I mean, Dan could put it as part of, you know.
I mean, we can, I know we can, if we wanna put a little conservation.
Yeah, but I don't know that that's a conservation issue per se.
What, that the bird flu's going around?
those are both.
We could probably get on the DEC site and they're probably gonna have something on there about it.
So all we have to
Yeah.
do is give the link to,
Yeah, but I'm
DEC.
just saying, I don't know that we need to do that. I mean, whoever does the newsletter. can
Yeah,
do that,
Sharon.
right?
And Sharon could also put something on the website if Dan, you know, thinks that it should be there. He can, or she has access to put things on the website. So if that's something that you want to put on there, you could shoot Sharon an email and she would probably confirm with Dan and put it on there if you wanted to.
Would
But yeah.
that be- I'm sorry,
That's okay.
would that be part of Doug Parsons? He's, isn't he the,
He's code enforcement officer.
isn't
I,
he public welfare or something too, public health?
that I don't know. I'm not totally sure. I don't know who that would be. But I definitely think if it's something that, you know, starts encroaching into the area that, yeah, that should be known to people. I mean, even Dan could put it in his newsletter that he just changed, so.
You all set? Move to adjourn?
I'll second it.
Okay,
set.
Chairman Watson,
All right.
Deputy Chairwoman Litter.
Aye, we can shorten that.
It's okay. Member Williver,
Aye.
Member Hope,
Hi,
and Member Kraus.
Aye.
All right.
Now, which one is that?
This is.
Oh, that's your stuff.
You think it's your- So I just have to.
thank you, everybody.
All right,
Thank
bye.
Good night.
Right.
Somebody. And this person said, yes, well, I guess I don't think. She's so pretty.
That was very nice of them.